Alright y'all, we're going to show you how to bleed brakes on your car. We're doing this job because we've done a lot of work over here, taking the caliper off, cleaned it and such. So we're just doing the final bleed on this side of the car. And I'll tell you our setup and then how to do this. That's an 8mm wrench. That's what my bleeder bolt, we have that attached to the bleeder bolt right there. That's what mine takes. This piece of tubing you can buy in any big box, Lowe's, Home Depot, and it is 5/16 outside diameter, 3/16 inside diameter. We just have a little container there to catch the brake fluid. And we have this underneath to catch any overshoot. Sister's going to be back here working this, the bleeder bolt. And I'm going to be at the front of the car in the reservoir area and at the brake pedal to bleed the system. So I'll show you real quick how you do this if you're doing the entire car. This is a 1995 Toyota Camry, my car is. This is applicable to other cars too. We're just bleeding the driver's rear because we're working on the car. We've already done the passenger rear. So if you're going to bleed the entire system, the tire you start out with, or the brake bleeder bolt, is on the furthest point away from the reservoir. Here's the brake fluid reservoir. You start there, so wherever that's located, the farthest point away from that brake reservoir is this rear passenger side. That's what you would do first. The next farthest away from this particular reservoir is where C-ster is, which is the driver's side rear. The next furthest point away from that particular reservoir is the front passenger. Then you'd bleed the driver's side front. So you go to the farthest point away from your reservoir and start first. Right, y'all, sister's down there. She's operating the bleeder bolt and telling me when to depress the brake and such. I'm up here at the reservoir. You can locate it, you should say brake fluid. This particular car takes .3. This is .3. Here's the only thing that's critical. This has got to be an unopened, fresh bottle. Not open, it's got to be sealed. So when you go to purchase it, you take off this cap because sometimes the seals are broken. Don't put brake fluid that has been open to the environment into your car because brake fluid absorbs moisture. It's very bad. Get a new bottle that's sealed. What you do here is take off your little cap, just like this. Your cap may be different. Pop it off. Put it on a clean paper towel. I have a trusty little funnel here. I'm going to put that right in here. I'm only going to add a little bit of brake fluid right now. I'm going to go past the maximum point to just a little bit above because we're bleeding the brakes. So I'm going to do that right now. I can't do that in film. So the reservoir is filled right now, and I'll show you very shortly how I do that. Right now I'm going to pump the brakes and listen to Sister ordering me around. I'm going to be pushing the brake pedal now while my sister says press, release. Press. It's pressed all the way down the floorboard, y'all. Now you can release it. Press again. Release it. Press. All right, y'all, here's what's happening back here when Sister's telling me to press, hold, release. As she's saying the word press, she is opening to the left, because it's Lucy, she's opening this bleeder bolt. She tells me to hold because she wants to see fluid and bubbles coming through. And as that fluid flow decreases, she then tightens that up, that bleeder bolt, and she says release. That's what she's doing each time. As your system starts clearing of the bubbles, the air in the line, it's going to be more difficult to depress the brake, and you'll feel that. Initially, it'll be a little spongy and easy, and then it gets harder. Go ahead, Bet. Okay, y'all, I'm going to add a little bit of fluid to it because the reservoir is down. How you do that is simply on this car, you take off that cap, just like that. Put it aside on a clean paper towel so nothing gets on it. I take my trusty funnel. Right here, it's not dripping any fluid, so it's okay to transfer it. I put it over there in the reservoir like that. And it's called a master cylinder, but I call it a brake reservoir. The type of brake fluid this car calls for, and it's a 1995 Toyota Camry, is .3 right there. I get SuperTech, that's Walmart brand. That's all y'all need. You don't need any special high-end brake fluid, unless your manufacturer calls for it, so you have to check that out, but this is what we use. I'm going to add a little bit of fluid to top this off so we can bleed it a little bit more. And this is all I do, y'all. So just watch the reservoir. That's enough. It's a little past the max line. Okay, y'all, now I'm going to make sure this doesn't drip. Knock it a couple of times. Transfer it to my trusty little cottage cheese container with paper towels in it so it can absorb little drips. Now you put the cap back on. This is how we do it. Some people just rest it on top. We want a closed system, and this cap is vented anyway. So there you go.
Hardly getting any bubbles, but we'll do a little bit more. Release. Press again. Good. Release. I think that's it. I'd say nice fluid coming through.
That's what's coming out. It's nice and clear. We're going to go with that. That means we're done bleeding it. Sis was back here, says no bubbles are coming through. Looks nice and fresh. She's going to take the hose off in just a minute here.
Ooh. Okay.
Pull her off, sister. It'll come out.
Have a paper towel under it when you pull it off. Okay. Snug that a little. Boop.
Gonna tighten the bolt a little bit. Now, y'all, you want to make sure that you check this. Give it 24 hours or so, or the next morning. Go out and check that bleeder bolt and see if it's bleeding. We clean those off with denatured alcohol. We use a paper towel, put some denatured alcohol on it. It is a must-have to it, y'all. Must-have. And then we're going to clean that bleeder bolt.
And then, a couple days after, when you've driven it with some, applying pressure on your brake, check it again.
Okay, y'all, so that's the dealio right there. You close the bleeder bolt, clean up around there. You want a baseline of clean so that you can detect if there are any leaks, and then you're good to go. You put your cap, your little dust cap back on. Y'all don't have these, go get some. I went to pick and pull a salvage yard and scab some. They're not very much. Then we're going to put the tire on. Now, y'all, before you put the tire on, remember, you just put the tire on, put the lug nuts on, finger tight, tighten them a little bit, lower the car, and then tighten them. When you finish bleeding your brakes, you want to fill your brake level to the maximum, and then you'll be done. Make sure the cap is on and secured. All right, y'all, that's how you bleed a brake system. We hope it helps, and happy DIY.